Hi, welcome to the first City Happening Show for 2011. I'm Mayor David Black. We just came off of a major summer and fall street improvement project. We'll show you some of the updates that were made. And one of our local elementary schools has an interesting program aimed at good student behavior. We'll show you what that is. The end of the calendar year means D.A.R.E graduations in our local grade schools, and we'll show you two of those. It's all coming up next in City Happenings for the week of January 3rd.
Thanks, Mayor Black. Last summer and fall, we saw a massive road improvement project. There was more than just road work.
Another part of this overall project on both phases of our asphalt and concrete repairs, we also targeted ADA corner ramps for all these areas that we targeted for street repairs. We improved the sidewalk ramps and that at all these intersections, along with doing some major storm inlet repairs along the way too. So I think it was very beneficial, and we're going to be, next year you'll see we're going to be out in the residential areas targeting residential street rehab along with improving ADA ramps on a lot of corners in these residential areas.
Carriage Hill Elementary is part of the Positive Behavior Intervention Supports Program.
We have 3 school rules, which is to be respectful, responsible, and safe. And kids earn paw pats when they're being respectful, responsible, or safe, and they go into a drawing. And then once a month we have a drawing, and we have Texas Roadhouse, Andy the Armadillo comes out, and then we have some kind of community member that comes in and talks about how they're respectful and responsible and safe.
This time, the Papillion Police are here.
And I think they make a logical sense to make sure we partner with them and that kids see them as a positive influence and someone that's there to help enforce the rules. And then it also makes sense their job is to make sure that everybody else is being respectful, responsible, and safe, and that they themselves exhibit those qualities. You know, I think what it does for the adults is, the first thing is we have a lot of adults that work with kids and making sure that we're all consistent. But I think it does remind us to focus on the positive and to see that the majority of the kids are always following the directions. And so focusing on the kids that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The 2 main keys that we know that help kids be successful with their behavior is teaching, which is what we do the best at schools, is teaching appropriate behavior. So I think the biggest thing is that PBIS teaches appropriate behavior and then positively reinforces, which we know also is what helps kids learn how to be appropriate. So I think it has the key components that are needed in a behavior system.
Papillion has maintained its association with the D.A.R.E program, but the police community involvement goes much deeper.
I highly believe in D.A.R.E from a number of perspectives, and not just D.A.R.E, but our whole philosophy of how we work with the schools, and it starts with D.A.R.E. We've got the D.A.R.E program in 6th grade, and then when the kids and that's their first real introduction probably for most of them to a police officer. Just stay on that angle for a second. Their introduction to a police officer, well, then they're going into junior high the next year, and man, these kids today have so many pressures, and we see crime at that level. Well, coming out of 6th grade, they already have a very positive personal experience with a police officer. They know him as a person, but they also know him as a police officer. They get into junior high, and the Papillion kids go into Papillion Junior High, then they have an introduction to an SRO officer. So that relationship then continues through junior high. And of course, when they get into the high schools, we have SOR officers there. So that whole high school experience with the police, they're getting a good solid foundation. We're getting a good relationship, and I absolutely believe crime goes down because of that. I believe when crime occurs at the youth level, we probably are able to get better information. We're able to close cases quicker. So I think it has a real payback from that perspective. We believe in it enough. We have a dedicated unit to the community aspect. And that's where the D.A.R.E officers are, that's where the SRO officers are, and we also have proactive relationships with the businesses. We have an officer that's out working with businesses and understands businesses and what issues they're facing. So we have a whole unit for it. And I'll tell you what, the guys that are in it do have a passion for it. I think Officer Foster with D.A.R.E has probably been doing it 25, 26 years maybe. He has kids in college coming back to him and talking to him I've talked to him about some of those experiences. We try to rotate officers through the SRO program. We've had a couple of officers specifically ask, can I stay one more year so I can follow that age of kids through the high school? It's an amazing program, and I absolutely believe because the relationships the kids build, a positive relationship with the police, that's reflected in our crime statistics being low. I'd like to welcome all of you to the year 2011. We hope that everyone had a safe and fun New Year's. Here's looking to a bright year for Papillion. And I'd like to invite you to our City Council meetings. They're held the first and third Tuesday of each month. If you can't make it to the City Council meetings, you can watch the replays right here on Papio Vision Channel 18. For more about Papillion, go to www.papillion.org or just call the Mayor's Hotline at 827-1111. Thanks for watching.